the dogs are here because we have a heavy video and I figured we would need some happiness in this video. We're actually gonna have a lot of happiness in this video, but before we start, welcome to my second channel. Welcome to all my crew of dogs, and make sure to subscribe. So let me explain the title because I'm sure you're gonna think it's just like a horrible, sad, depressing video, and it could be. It was. Y'all, I filmed this about 5 times. Each time I filmed, I had about 5 to 10 different video segments because I was just losing it. It was like the whole typical YouTuber crying, depressed, my friend died, you know, makeup running, can't even understand what I'm saying type video. And I was like looking through every single time and I was like, Michelle, these ain't it. You need more time to be able to vocalize what you're trying to say, but also you need to give yourself some time to grieve as well because we are dealing with death. But I also don't want to make this, obviously the dogs have their little pig ears, so you hear them chewing in the back, just so you know. Rigby is being a really good boy, he's just chilling. But I didn't want this to be so depressing, and even though that we're talking about death and I wanted my channel to be something that's fun, but we still talk about serious topics, but we also try to look at the happier side of death, as happy as that can be. So I just needed a few weeks to be able to just be normal and grieve, but also come on here and talk about a serious topic that for some reason people asked me quite a bit about, how I deal so well with death, and that don't know why people ask me that. One, I think it's because of Yoshi and because she's older and you guys think that she's going to pass away soon, which she promised me that she would absolutely never leave. So we don't have to worry about that. She's here forever. But yeah, I think it's because Yoshi's getting older and I hear a lot of people say like, oh, this pet just passed away. How do you deal with death, Michelle? Or how do you deal so well with death, Michelle? And I'm like, I deal well with death? Y'all don't really know my anxiety-filled ass, but I don't know if I deal badly with death. I don't know what is a good way to deal with death. I think I cope with death pretty well. I have my coping mechanisms when it happens, which we will get to. But the two answers is suppression and comedy. Don't know if that's healthy, but it seems to work pretty well for me. So death is kind of a funny topic. I don't know if I'm using the right words. Like I said, I don't have a script going on. I'm feeling things and I'm able to express myself without ugly crying. And I just want to get on here and talk to you guys because people in my group too, I've noticed in my workout group, have been dealing a lot with death, and it's just very sad. And it's just, we talk about, we all have to deal with death when the time comes, and you know, watching other people that we love leave the earth. So, I mean, it's a topic that we should talk about. But a lot of people have been dealing with death. I've been dealing with death specifically. But death is kind of a funny thing because when you're little, I remember people dying and you know what death is, but you really don't know what, you know, it's just a weird thing. When you're little, someone dies and your parents are like, you know, they went to heaven, and you're like, okay, that's sad, and that's that. And then as you grow up, you know, it gets more real. So when I was little, when my grandparents died, well, my grandpa, which that one hurt a lot because I did like my grandma. Now when my grandma died, rest her soul, but she was so mean to me. Like, she was just so mean to me, and I don't know why. So when she died, it hurt, and I still didn't take it very well, but at the same time, I would remember all the times that she would just yell at me for reasons, but I was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. You know, you teach me how to grow, not just yell at me for things that I don't understand. For example, I had a little pee issue. You know, I had anxiety forever, I think, where I just like rev myself up and then I would pee, especially, or if I was really happy, like I'm a laugher. I laugh a lot. And if I laugh a lot, then I would start peeing. And I was little, I had a weak bladder, okay? But my grandma's very uppity, dad's side. And all the cousins and me were outside playing. I was, you know, doing my whole bug farm thing, collecting bugs. And my cousin is just super funny. My grandma was having her like tea group, or like, I don't know, old women that get together every Wednesday around 12 o'clock. And they're just inside, and all her friends are very uppity. And my cousin's just really funny. I had to go to the bathroom bad, but I also didn't want to walk through the kitchen and pass through, the area where my grandma and her friends were at. So I was just trying to hold it, and my cousin just kept making me laugh and pee everywhere, where all the cousins just stopped, and I'm just standing there like, and now I have to slish-slosh my 7-year-old ass through the walk of shame, up with all of my grandma's old friends staring at me, and then my grandma just like. And so it was just stuff like that, where she would just say or look at me angry, like she just did not like me. And I remember her on her deathbed, where she was finally smiling at me, and I'm like, you're smiling at me? Is it because you're about to die and you're like, thank God I don't have to look at this little girl anymore? I don't know. But when she died, it still got me pretty hard, because it's like, whoa, grandma's not here anymore to stare at me with that angry face. You grow a little bit more and you experience death more. And I remember my first friend passing away. Actually, she got brutally murdered. If you remember, and I want to say, like, wasn't like my best friend, but we were partners in geometry class. She was one of the girls that I would hand the baton off in relay races when we did track. And Chelsea King, if you ever heard of that story, she got brutally murdered. And so that was a weird one to feel, and an angry one to feel. And then you lose your friend to suicide. I don't think I can say the word. And that was the most recent one. Actually, I had 2 friends do that this year and at the end of last year. So that was first one. And I'm in my 30s. So that was still one, as you age, you experience new types of death, and it just hits you. So that took me a lot to get through, which was very sad. And it's really hard to like feel, like, just to see the parents, because she loved her parents loved her. I have no idea what was going on in her life that made her do that. But I can tell you that it's really sad. But when I heard about her death, I already knew. And then I avoided asking someone close, because I don't want to ask the parents. I don't want to have them like keep saying it, like I'm sure people are asking what happened, and they have to say, oh, she took herself out the same way that Robin Williams took himself out. And so I just didn't want to ask the parents or the brother or anything like that. I ended up asking her personal trainer, because she used to be my client. And then I moved, and I talked to the personal trainer. I was like, hey, not to be too intrusive, but do you know what happened? I don't know anything that's going on. I just know she passed away, and it's just on my mind, because I felt like I was just talking to her. She was supposed to come over. She wanted to see the dogs, and I even texted her, and I didn't get a text back. So I was like, didn't know. I went to sleep, had a nice nap, and I was so peaceful. And I wake up to check Facebook, and I see, in loving memory of my friend. And I'm just like, wait, what? What do you mean in loving memory? Did she do something great? Like, what's going on? Did she just, discover a new species? What's happening? What do you mean in love? She can't die. She's younger than me. And then I had to read all the comments. So I reached out, because it was just on my mind for weeks. And then, of course, just the first thing this girl says is she hung herself. And I'm like, oh, that's just so deep. I just don't understand what was going on in her life. And it's a weird feeling, it's like, and some people might get mad, but it's like a feeling of anger, because you're like, what the heck? Why couldn't we work through this? What was so bad in your life that you had to do that? And then the second is like sadness, because something was so bad in their life that they took it away from themselves, and they just wanted to not live anymore, which is so sad. And it was a weird feeling to feel, especially when it's someone that they're just such a good person, and you're like, you just wanted to help them, and you can't, because they're not here anymore. So that was very sad and heartbreaking to be dealing with. Same with my other friend. Just 2. It's odd. It's an odd feeling. So now that I got all of that out the way. Oh, and then my sister's dog died. A few days later, I got the text from my mom, and I'm just like, 3 deaths and I'm not dealing with it well. But I do have ways to cope with it because I think a lot of people, me included, you just focus on just the death. You just focus on the death. And I'm someone that thinks about death all the time. You know, like I'm like, okay, when am I gonna die? When is this person gonna die? When am I gonna get the call that my mom died or my sister died? Like I just keep imagining how, because a friend found my friend and then that friend has to call the family and then the family calls other people. And I'm like, when am I gonna get my call that, you know, my mom's no longer here, or someone in my group, their sister passed away. And I'm like, when am I gonna get my call that my sister passed away? Or when am I going to die? And then my family gets, you know, the call and then they're sad and that's a sad thing. You know, it always runs through my mind because it just does. I don't know. I just freak out over everything all the time. And I have to try to remember to always focus on the good. Otherwise, I can see myself just spiraling into a depression if I constantly think about the bad and think about death, when death is something that happens every day and I need to just but focus on the positives and something that I help and learn how to cope, you know, with death because it's going to happen. And I can't freak out about something that is inevitable. So the best thing to do is cope. And for me, it's to, one, you gotta like cry about it, which I did. I did a lot of that. But once it comes down to it, I've gotta stop laying in bed and crying. You can still cry, but something that I would like to do, and like my boyfriend was like, you need to get out of bed and like do something, is to do something fun. And I wasn't gonna do anything fun that day or like after I found out, you know, a few weeks after I found out. And he was like, I was like, I'm just gonna like work. I was posting a lot of videos and I was like, I'm just gonna keep editing and just kind of like suppress it, just suppress those feelings down. And he was like, why don't we just go do something fun and do something, you know, that we don't normally do. Let's try a new restaurant or something like that. And I was like, we have to drive all the way down to San Diego. It's far from us, but it helped. And so we are gonna go to San Diego. I'm gonna take you guys with me. We're going to a new restaurant that I never tried, and let's go. So I started my day with some good old puppy love, saying good morning to the pups. And there's Rigby, good morning. Good morning, little man. Yoshi did her morning crotch lick and Mr. Rigby gets to explore the backyard a little bit more. Now that he's getting a lot more trained, I usually keep him in his little pen, but now he goes with the big kids. Then we made our way to Din Tai Fung in San Diego. I've never gone here. I usually stick to burgers, typical American, but wanted to try something new. I don't know the names of these things, but I think these were dumplings with shrimp in it. We also had buns, which were my absolute favorite. I loved the dough. It's just thick and doughy because it's dough. I'm a carb girl, y'all, but they had pork and chicken inside of them. Garrett's sister was like, this is so much food. I'm so full. We had like one bun each and 3 of those tiny dumplings. Me and him were still hungry. We are not skinny legends, which is fine. I would rather eat more of my own food at home because I'm sure the calories are a lot at restaurants. So when we got home, we made low-calorie burgers with homemade fries and broccoli, and then I was actually full. We put the dogs in the pool. How can dogs standing in a pool not boost your mood? They look extremely cute. I make it a positive experience by putting peanut butter on the side of the pool or on my finger to trick them into liking it. Yoshi absolutely hates water, hates bath, anything wet, but once I started involving peanut butter and just going a little slower with her, she will just stand in there. Like she will jump into the pool. Well, not jump, she's older, but she'll like step into the pool the best that she can. So gotcha, bitch. Now you see Butters is not in there. He will jump in from time to time, just get the peanut butter and jump right back out. I don't force them. If they want to get out, they can, minus Rigby. He's small, so I have to lift him up when I see that he's ready to get out. But Yoshi and Butters can get in and get out as they want. So they all seem to just enjoy when the pool gets taken out because that means they get the glorious peanut butter. That night we grilled chicken, boiled potatoes, and roasted some veggies. It was nice to get out the house a bit and just not lay in bed and ponder and wonder about my friend or just throw myself into my work and try to suppress it. It was just nice to get out of the house, enjoy life, and spend time with people that I really care about. And of course, my pets. Another thing that I think is really good to do is to avoid very dramatic, sad, and shows that have a lot of death in it. You know, when someone just died in your life, you're gonna watch a show that has a lot of death in it. Doesn't make too much sense. I feel like it makes you more depressed. Like something that I would do when I was younger and sad, like my teenage years, when I was upset, I would physically make I would download all of my extremely sad, depressed songs from LimeWire and then listen to it in my room and just cry forever. Like, that didn't put me in a good mood. So I would need to find something to put me in a good mood, and something that is the best thing that I love to do, which I talk about all the time, is cartoons. Cartoons are easy, fun, they're not serious, they're goofy, they're stupid, they make me feel like a kid again, and they're just dumb, goofy, colorful cartoons, bright cartoons that put me in a very good mood, and usually there's no death in there. So, watch things like SpongeBob. Do not watch things like Ozark. People dying every 2 minutes. By the way, the ending. Hated the ending. Not gonna spoil it for you, but the ending was horrible. Do watch things like Cupcake and Dino.
Cupcake and Dino, Cupcake and Dino, General Services.
New show that I found on Netflix. It's about a cupcake and a dinosaur. There ain't gonna be no death in there. Ain't gonna be nothing serious. It's a cupcake. And if you are like me, queen of cake, you might enjoy it. It's just very goofy, very fun, very colorful, and it's on Netflix. Do not watch BoJack Horseman. I thought it was just a goofy cartoon. BoJack Horseman, they deal with a lot of death and just almost dying and just death in general and just some sad things that I'm just like, this is real. This is way too real. And I'm crying now during a cartoon. So I wouldn't recommend that if you are in a mood, but I do recommend BoJack Horseman if you are not in a mood. I actually really liked it. I didn't think that I would enjoy a cartoon about a human-like horse. Do watch Dogs in Space. It's another cartoon that I just found on Netflix, just about dogs in space. And I don't know if I fully recommend it, actually. I only watched a few episodes, but it seems like it's for children, very goofy. It's just dogs in space trying to find a planet for their humans to be able to live on. Another grown-up animation that I found that I actually really liked, didn't like it at first, but it's very colorful and just goofy, is Duncanville. That one's on Hulu. Another super goofy one is Housebroken, also on Hulu.
Hey, gray one, we're in here.
That is not a pig. That is just a fat cat.
And it's just about if you love pets and your pets are just goofy, stupid, and funny. Stupid, but you know what I mean by stupid. Like stupid but smart, but stupid, as in they do stupid, funny, goofy things. Housebroken on Hulu as well, or just Fox Network. I don't know when they play it on cable, but I have Hulu, so I can watch it anytime. But it's just whenever I watch it, I'm like, that's what Yoshi does, that's what Butters does, and that's what Rigby does. And then of course Clarence, just a cute, lovable, buck teeth with a gap, fat little boy going through his daily antics, and I absolutely love it. Nothing serious in that one at all. And then of course my last thing to cope that just makes me happy are my dogs. Okay, you're not making me too happy right now, Butters. He keeps scratching at my knee. Come here. My dogs make me absolutely happy. They're very cute and pretty well behaved for the most part. And they just make me happy. Just grab a dog if you have one at home and it likes to be grabbed, or if you have a friend's dog that likes to be grabbed, maybe spend some time with it. Dogs are therapy, they use a lot of animals in general for therapy for a reason. They just, I don't know, they do something to me and they just make me really happy. I was just crying about my friend, and my boyfriend just grabs my dogs and puts them on me, and it just boosted my mood. Just boosted up my mood. So those are my little tips for how I cope with death, or how I deal with death while still being alive, which is something that we all have to do because that is life, unfortunately. I wish everybody could just live forever, just stay in our 25, 30, 35 range, just forever, and just love life. I wish, but yeah, we have to deal with death, unfortunately. I'm happy that I got this video out, able to vocalize my thoughts instead of just ugly crying on camera for you guys so that we can actually discuss things. And I also want to say, if you are someone that is, please, just tell someone what you're feeling. Talking about your feelings, I think my friend, she bottled everything up and she wouldn't talk about it. She made everyone feel like everything was perfect, at least when I talked to her. When I talked to a couple other people that knew her, they just thought she was good. She didn't express anything, I just had another friend, which I thought was weird at first, but then, my girlfriend just, she's gone. But and he's a male friend, and on his Instagram, it was just stories of him crying. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you just stories of you crying? And then at the end, he was like, hey, I battle with depression. I battle with thoughts, and I just wanted to put this out here and just, say my voice really quick. And I don't want to get to that point. I just wanted to express myself a little bit. That's what happens just through the day. sometimes like he's just very depressed occasionally and he has to try to get himself out there, and it helps to talk about it. And you know, me looking at him crying, I was like, dude, how dumb is that? And I got to the end and I was like, wow, I wish my friend just did this. You know, who cares what people think? If you're struggling, talk about it. If you want, and I can't get to every single message, but if you want to use my inbox as a journal and you want to talk about that and you need to just have a little outlet, please use it. Use my Instagram as, you know, a journal, or the comment section if you feel like you can do that. But please just talk about it, write it out. Please do that. It's not fun for the people around you. And I'm not trying to sound selfish as in, you know, like think about the other people around you, but yeah, it is something to think about. You know, your parents won't be too happy about that. Nobody wants their loved ones to struggle. And I hope that, you know, you get help and you can work through it. I am here for you virtually, and Rigby's here for you too. I really hope that anyone that struggles with that gets help in some way. And that's all I know what to say. So I don't know if I deal with death well. I don't know if I verbalized my thoughts well either in this video. Like I said, I'm still just learning about life, dealing with, you know, friends dying, and every time it happens, it's a shock. So do I deal with it well? I don't know, but these are the ways that I cope, and I hope that it gave you some type of comfort as well. If you are dealing with death, I am with you. It's a struggle, but you know, life goes on and we are still living and we gotta make the best of it. So thank you so much. Subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you guys next video. Bye guys.